Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My name is Iman and I will be presenting the story of Nuh alayhi salam. So Nuh alayhi salam was sent by Allah about 1,000 years after Adam alayhi salam came to earth. During the generations, the people worshipped statues and called them their gods. They thought that they could bring them good, present, and give them all their needs that they needed and just like protect them from evil. And occasionally when a good person died, they would build a statue over the place where they used to sit to keep their memories alive. But they did not worship those statues. Later on, when the generations got further from the path of Allah, they began worshipping those statues, which is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Nuh alayhi salam to guide the people. Nuh alayhi salam was a great speaker and a very patient man. He told them about the greatness of Allah, but he also warned them about the great punishment that Allah would give if they continued in their evil ways. The people split into two groups after Nuh alayhi salam's warning. Nuh alayhi salam's words touched the poor and needy, but the greedy and the rich became his enemies. So later on, when the leaders found out that the poor and common laborers were following Nuh alayhi salam, they began to bargain with them. And they also told Nuh alayhi salam to be with them because they were rich and had a lot of power over other people instead of being with the poor and needy. But Nuh alayhi salam kindly refused. And then the people were getting tired of Nuh alayhi salam's arguments. And they said, if you are truthful, then why don't you bring the punishment of Allah to us? Nuh alayhi salam said, only Allah can bring the punishment. And when He does, you cannot escape it. So the people did not believe him and they called him a liar. But Nuh alayhi salam said, I know something from Allah that you do not know. And it is better if you follow me to the path of Allah. But most people of Nuh alayhi salam were really, really mean. They enslaved people and just did really mean things. So Nuh alayhi salam continued to call his people. He did it in secret and in the open. He did it for days and days. And the number of his believers were not increasing due to the fact that the people taught their children not to follow Nuh alayhi salam, and their children did the same thing for their children. So Nuh alayhi salam called his people for about 950 years, and when he saw that nobody would believe in him, he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to destroy all of the non-believers. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Nuh alayhi salam to build a huge ark. And Nuh alayhi salam did it far from the town, and he did it far from water. So the non-believers came when Nuh alayhi salam was building the ark. They came, and they started laughing at him. They said, why are you building an ark so far away from the ocean? Are you going to pull it? They made fun of him. They called him crazy and other names. But Nuh alayhi salam just replied calmly. He said, it will come to the day when you will know. So he just kept on building it, and when he was done, he waited for the next request that Allah would tell him to do. And Allah said, when your oven overflows with water, collect each of 2 animals, male and female, and put them on the boat. And gather up all of the Muslims and also put them on the boat. So when the time came, Nuh alayhi salam's oven overflowed, and the rain was pouring down harder than it ever did before. So Nuh quickly gathered up all of the animals, put them on the boat, and he gathered the Muslims as well. So the non-believers obviously did not go on. They thought that he was out of his mind and crazy because it was restrained, or at least they thought so. So a little after, the town was flooded, and the ark slowly started to rise. And when they were just sailing, Nuh alayhi salam saw his son and his wife climbing a mountain, and they were non-believers as well. So that is the reason why they did not enter the ark. So he called out to his son and told him to come onto the boat. But his son refused, and he said that he could climb the mountain to safety. But Nuh alayhi salam knew he couldn't. So with that, a huge wave came over and swallowed his son. And it also did the same to all of the non-believers. After a while, the mountain landed on Mount Judi. And the earth sucked up all of the water. So all of the believers came out and they made food and stuff because they could not make food on the boat, because if they made a fire, it would burn. So Nuh alayhi salam, the first thing he did when he came onto the earth is he prostrated to Allah, and he also asked him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, why he had to take his family away from him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that they were not his family because true family are the believers. So while they were living, it was a good life for them, all Muslims, in the path of Allah. And soon the death of Nuh alayhi salam came, and Nuh alayhi salam told his sons, his children, to keep following Allah and never go out of his path and not have too much pride.
Class. Alhamdulillahi alladhi ahyana ba'dama amatana wa ilayhi an-nushur. Alhamdulillahi alladhi ahyana ba'dama amatana wa ilayhi an-nushur. Alhamdulillahi alladhi ahyana ba'dama amatana wa ilayhi an-nushur. باسمك أموت وأحيا اللهم باسمك
You have this one. Use this one, okay?
وأحيا اللهم باسمك أموت وأحيا
Can you hold this?
اللهم باسمك أموت وأحيا اللهم باسمك أموت وأحيا اللهم باسمك أموت وأحيا اللهم الصلاة على النبي والصلاة على الرسول وأنبياء المرسلين كلهم مكرمون. Blessings be upon Nabi, peace be upon the messenger and the prophets who were sent. All of them were honored. Adam, Idris, Nuh, Saleh, Ibrahim, Lut, Ismail, Ishaq, Yaqub, Yusuf, Ayyub, Shu'aib, Musa, Harun, Dhul-Kif, Dawud, Sulaiman, Ilyas, Isa, Yunus, Zakaria, Yahya, Isa, Muhammad, Khatimul Anbiya, Muhammad al-Mustafa. الصلاة على النبي والصلاة على الرسول والأنبياء المرسلين كلهم مكرمون. Blessings be upon me, peace be upon